Non-disclosure agreements, what are they and why can they be harmful? I'm Natalie Gerry with Gerry Law. I'm the principal lawyer and founder. I help injured people get the compensation that they deserve for their injuries. Today we're talking about non-disclosure agreements, what they are and why they might be harmful to you in a settlement. The majority of lawsuits end in a negotiated settlement, almost 95%, some statistic like that. The majority of cases are going to settle before they get to a protracted trial. The trial can be a very public vindication for a plaintiff if everything goes well and all of the details of the abuse that they have suffered or their injuries, everything is in the public eye. A trial is public and everything would become known. This is one factor to be aware of with a trial, but as I said, they are quite rare. So it's important to be aware then of what can happen in a settlement of a sexual assault matter or another injury. Usually in a sexual assault matter, the defendant may have an interest in keeping what happened private and not allowing the plaintiff to discuss it. This is where the non-disclosure agreement comes in. In a settlement agreement, the non-disclosure can be a part of the release. So where the survivor is signing to accept a settlement, part of that can be non-disclosure. The background to a non-disclosure agreement is that in the personal injury context, historically, even before sexual abuse matters were being brought, usually the settlement would include a provision just that the plaintiff, the survivor, cannot discuss anything related to the settlement, the underlying issues that gave rise to the claim. A very broadly worded non-disclosure would be included, including a confidentiality about what happened and the terms of the settlement. This is a bit of an unthinking way if we proceed with it into current day and sexual abuse matters now. There are three main problems with signing a non-disclosure agreement in a settlement. The first problem with a non-disclosure agreement as part of a settlement is that it can effectively silence the survivor about what happened to them. This is a really important consideration because of the shame and potential embarrassment that can surround a sexual assault lawsuit and the underlying facts. The non-disclosure agreement can then perpetuate this and make it so that the survivor feels even more silenced and like they cannot talk about what happened to them. This can be a big issue with a non-disclosure agreement. The second negative thing about the non-disclosure agreement is that it can halt or hinder the survivor's healing. Because of having to not discuss the issue, the survivor may not even be able to talk about it with their therapist or counselor. And this can be really problematic for working through the trauma, and it can in fact make the trauma worse by not allowing the survivor to express their emotions even in private. A very broadly worded non-disclosure agreement would be a big problem in a settlement. The third problem that comes up with a non-disclosure agreement is that it can empower or protect the perpetrator. And this is a major issue in that it gives an indication to a perpetrator that they can buy silence. They can pay the survivor and the survivor then cannot speak about the issue again. This is a major problem with a non-disclosure agreement, and it's something that your lawyer should definitely discuss with you in the settlement, whether or not this is appropriate. More and more institutional defendants are recognizing that it is not appropriate to have a non-disclosure agreement because it can empower and embolden the perpetrators, knowing that they can silence and have no repercussions basically other than the financial repercussions for the assault that they have perpetrated. Some Canadian provinces have already taken action to disallow non-disclosure agreements in sexual assault cases, and this is a positive step forward for survivors. Always make sure to get legal advice on your particular situation and how this could have an effect on your situation.